Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode, I think it's 234.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two Crazy Ketos. And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time it's Labor Day, you'll be alerted to it. Happy Labor Day, everybody. I am so excited at the prospect. I'm very excited at the prospect of the fact that we've probably got some people here watching us live that are normally at work on Monday morning and don't get to visit with us in the chat. So I am just tickle pink that you are here, and welcome. If you're new here, I actually see some people who are just new altogether to our channel. Welcome. We are so excited that you're here and grateful that you're up this morning hanging out with us.
I don't like Labor Day because I feel like on Labor Day I always labor.
You're not supposed to labor.
I have a lot of work to do. Well, where our RV has
supposed to labor to rest.
Our RV has a hole in the roof.
It does. There's a hole in my RV.
On Friday, we have the insurance inspector, adjuster, whatever, claims person is coming to look at the roof to then give us money to put a new roof on. As soon as he's done, we have to drive the RV
book it, Dano,
to the West Coast to drop it off at a place because they want it like next Tuesday, but Chris and Miriam are going to be in town and we're not going to be able to bring it over there. So I'm going to bring it to him early. Oof. I know. That's working on my truck. So what ended up happening was I'm like, we got this new truck. Let me hook it up, make sure everything's working right. The trailer lights on the RV don't work. So I had to rewire them. Now I have to clean the RV. We're putting like a ridiculous amount of batteries in there, like 15,000 watt hours of batteries in there.
But you know what? I feel like, especially, we're in the midst of hurricane season. Okay.
You're going to be able to live in your RV on hurricane season.
If we needed to. I mean, our thoughts and prayers are with all of these people that just got affected by this hurricane. We know what it's like to live through that. And we've had extended family that have just had absolute devastation, like the entire house. And then they got it twice. They got it twice in a row. And just beat up. So we just kind of, for peace of mind, want a little something where we could be able to live without power and have air conditioning, like for the kids and if we needed it.
But I'm doing it all myself. As you can see, I hit my head working underneath the truck.
Wrapped in bubble wrap. Oh. That's what you need for your birthday.
I save a lot of money working it on myself, doing it on myself. So anyway, so today I got to clean the RV and I got to empty out the RV to make room for 400 pounds of batteries, and I'm going to take it down to a weigh station and weigh it because I'm adding 400 pounds of batteries. So all of that good stuff. Anyway, if you are new to our channel, welcome. Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We like to celebrate wins, highlight victories people have put on our social media channels. Our channel is all about community. And we encourage you to join our community at members.twocrazyketos.com. It is completely free. If you want to support us financially, you can join one of the membership levels at $5, $10, or $25. But that is completely optional. But in our Mighty Networks group at members.twocrazyketos.com, you can post things just like Facebook. You've got instant messaging, all kinds of things. We're even planning a cruise for our channel supporters. I'm actually looking at planning 2 of them for next year. So super excited about that for those who join our communities. I wanted to mention before we get on 2 things. Number 1, if you are new here, we don't do too much with the chat until like the last 10 or 15 minutes. If you have a question or want to talk about something or want us to talk about something right away, that may be a topic that comes up, use the super chat function down below. That's the little dollar sign. It's in the chat window. That will highlight our screen. It also does help us with our channel. But then the last 10 or 15 minutes, we'll get into the chat. Wanted to mention a couple of quick sales that are still going on. Number one, if you're in the market for an Innova Precision oven,
yes,
25% off. That's a huge deal because
Debbie
the
got
oven's on
one
sale for $520.
happy retirement to herself.
So I have a link for that down below. Perfect Keto is still having their sale. Today's the last day of their Labor Day sale, up to 40% off. Honestly, the only way to use the sale is 40% off. So buy 5 things or more, you get 40% off. I actually have the cinnamon toast MC2 oil powder
It's
in my
good for
coffee
fall.
today.
It's a nice fall flavor.
And then finally, last thing I wanted to mention was today's the last day for our giveaway for the new Keto Chow core flavors. Head
Don't
on
miss
over
that.
to that video, which was the one that's like keto rice pudding. Leave a comment on that video. You do have to live in the United States. We're giving away 3 sets of the new flavors.
Get yours.
Are you ready?
So it's official.
Okay.
My friend Beth sent me this fall wreath to indicate the beginning of fall decorating season. So let us know in the chat, is your house starting to look like this? Like, when do you start decorating for fall? I know that there's usually like a clear indicator. A lot of times people, like the day after Thanksgiving, start putting up their Christmas tree, but like, when do you start putting up the fall things? And do you do fall things, or do you do like Halloween first and then you do fall stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. How was your birthday? Did you get what you wanted?
It was awesome. If you are a channel supporter, you get Fearless Friday, and you knew from their Fearless Friday post that we're supposed to be focused on the one thing. It makes everything so much easier. And I'm following the one thing principle. So I decided, what is the one thing that I would want for my birthday?
Joe to be not home?
No, that was not it. That was
I wasn't. I was doing
I know.
school.
That was not it at
Sorry.
all. But I mean, but the air conditioning being like really low as a side effect of you not being here was like, I'm not going to say it was unpleasant. Okay. All right. We did miss you. But my one thing was, I would really like to play a card game with my kids. Skip Bow in particular, because I learned how to play
you just
Skip Bow.
want to aggravate yourself with everybody who's a rules follower?
No, well, it actually turned out perfect because they
Joe wasn't
play a game called Nerds, which they said is like a lot like Skip-Bo. And so that was the thing. It was like, I was deciding that if I got to play a card game with all of my children, it would be the best day ever. And so I did. I got the kids over. I got like the 2 boys that have girlfriends, the girlfriends over. I got Peyton over at my house. I mean, I got to have more than just that. I got to see my mom. Like, I got to have like messages from people wishing me happy birthday. Like, I got shrimp yesterday. Like, I had all the shrimp cocktail I could eat, right? But the one thing that I wanted, I totally got. So I really want to bring that into this week. If you're on this keto journey and you're like trying to do all the things, you're trying to be so right in so many areas, you're going to overwhelm yourself right now.
Right.
I'm going to tell you. Focus on what is the one thing. Maybe if you're new to keto, the one thing is, I'm just going to eat keto food today. That is plenty. That is enough. That will be successful, and it will be measurable success. At the end of the day, when I look back and I was like, did I achieve what I wanted to? Play a card game with my kids? Boom, yes. Yes, there they are. Oh my gosh. Yes, there.
Except for Michelle. Michelle's like
Michelle is taking
us.
the photograph, obviously. Right. I mean, because Peyton was taking lousy photographs with it. No, but look at her. It was so fun. I was able to find some Peyton level like storage boxes because now she's standing.
Right.
And so I wanted things that she can kind of like surf around the room, and it was just so much fun. Because the one thing.
Yeah.
One
Joanna
thing.
wanted to know, was yesterday your actual birthday?
Yes.
It
was not just my birthday. It was Miriam's birthday and Lynette's birthday. Let's pause. to sing happy birthday to Lynette and Miriam from Keto Chop. Are you
Right.
ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miriam and Lynette. Happy birthday to you and many more. So many more.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I did see, by the way, Matt had put up, where is it?
Matt Franklin.
I wish I was able to grill. The apartment complex tends to frown on grilling and smoking meats indoors.
Wow.
That's why you need an Innova Precision oven.
Yeah, that really helps.
Because you can, in an Innova Precision oven, you can not grill, but you can get pretty close to it. You can sous vide, then you can sear it after it. So it's like one thing does it all. Plus you can dehydrate, air fry, bake, you name it, you can cook it. Absolutely. It's like, it has become my thing. If someone says to me, what's the one appliance I should get? If I don't have a lot of room, I would say get that because you can do so much in it.
Yeah.
Not like there are certain things that like other things will do better, but it really encompasses everything. Like if you want a quick air fryer, yeah, and regular air fryer will get things done, but not like it can't do everything else. Like so it's an expensive piece of equipment. That's why you wait for them to be 25% off.
Yeah, you want it on sale. I will say also, I noticed while out shopping this weekend, just like fun fact, because we're transitioning from summer to this guy right here, a lot of grills are on sale
Yeah.
because all of the stuff is out sale. Patio furniture's on sale, pool floats are on sale, and hey, also barbecue accoutrement is on sale.
We've been ranting for 15 minutes. Let's move on. Okay, ready?
PSA though.
This week we have our Keto College adjunct professor. It is Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
Cindy said yes, whether ketovore, carnivore, we are all aiming towards the same end result, better health. This is not a competition. It's a way of life to better ourselves in every way possible. With this meme, it says, call me crazy, but I like to see other people happy and succeeding. Life is a journey, not a competition.
That is so stinking true, right? Like, and the thing is that a lot of times you're comparing yourself to people who don't even know that they are in a race with you. Like they don't know that they're in competition. So let's just quit the competition, right? Because like, it's not even a fair race if the other person doesn't know you're racing them, right? So don't compete, cheer. It's a C word, right? Let's cheer. I like cheer better than compete.
Let's move on to our first subscriber of the week. This week it is from Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Sean said, after so many years of being too heavy, I was finally able to go skydiving.
Oh, whoa.
It was so amazing. And what meal should you eat after skydiving?
Wings. Oh my gosh, Sean. Yes. Talk about keto beyond the couch. You're like keto.
I think you should do that.
You're like keto beyond the stratosphere.
I think you should do that.
I think I should too. There is an indoor skydiving opportunity that I can take. I'm willing to do that. But like skydiving out of a perfectly good plane, I'm going to leave that to Sean and to you.
Okay.
As I know you have gone skydiving one time. Totally free to do that again. And
you won't let me go water skiing. You're gonna let me go skydiving?
Will absolutely film from the safe grounds of you landing safely. Of course, we will have to put background music to it because I'll just be praying the entire time. And I don't know if anybody wants to listen to me like do that the entire time you're skydiving.
Next one we have is from Damara.
Hi, Damara.
It said, it is my 2-year ketoversary. I tear up thinking how far I've come. In 2021, I was rock bottom. I had a stroke event caused by stress of taking care of a sick parent. I was morbidly obese and really didn't have much to live for. I started keto as a last-ditch effort to save myself. I'm not perfect, just consistent.
Wow.
Each day I try to eat a little better, move a little bit more, and give myself grace when I slip up. Fast forward to today, I'm down 100 pounds.
Wow.
And I have a new appreciation for life. The photo on the left is 2018, the last photo I allowed of old me. Photo on the right is today. Life exists beyond the couch.
Yes. Yes, Damara. Yes. You want to know how you lose 100 pounds? Follow what she did. Be consistent. Being perfect 30% of the time is not going to get you where you want to go. Being consistent, even if it's slow, even if the progress is slow, if you consistently drive in the right direction, you will get to your destination. You will not if like you quit and pull over, but you're like, hey, everything is perfect, but it's only 30% of the time. Consistency. Wow. She just was consistent, only consistent. 100 pounds. That is incredible. That is incredible.
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with comments.
Who's grilling? And what are we grilling? This seems like, I noticed that they were sampling a lot of grilling things at the Costco yesterday, including bratwurst, which I felt bad that I sampled without you. Like I literally found myself like with the little toothpick, like looking around to see if Joe was there because that's his favorite. He loves all of the wursts. Liverwurst, bratwurst.
Rotten Cat said, I don't know if you saw my post to Mighty Networks, but it's been a rough year for me. I've missed you guys. I'm back as a 2K Cape Tribe member.
I love that. We're so stinking glad you're back. Welcome back. Welcome home. I love that.
Okay, first comment is from Keto Beyond Journey.
Well, hello.
Said, I know this is late and I probably won't be seen.
You certainly are. Look at this.
But wanted to say thank you also to Rachel, who has inspired me to walk at least every other day.
Yes.
If nothing else, it has improved my mood tremendously.
I love that, and I completely echo that comment. I don't even want you moving your body because you're trying to achieve some sort of fitness goal. I want you going in there thinking about how it's going to change your mood. Like it is going to change your mood. You go on for a walk, and it was funny because yesterday, Michelle was joking. She's like, I know that it's only gone from like 96 degrees around here to 95 degrees, but is something happening? Is it a little crisper outside? I feel like it's a little crisper already outside. And it is. Like, I feel like the air has a little different attitude to it. And because of that, it's time to start walking outside. And when you do, it is going to change your mood. And I find that it really, really helps me. I love it.
Next one we have is from Susan.
Hi, Susan. If you want autophagy to get rid of old damaged tissues, then you do need to have higher ketones.
No.
I'm sorry. The answer we were looking for was Madagascar. Remember, I had it wrong about. Oh, you weren't with me.
I don't.
We were
know.
at the zoo, and there were lemurs on an island because we went to the Naples Zoo. I met up with Sarah Gustafson, who was down here on vacation. She just got home safely this morning. So glad to have seen her. But we went to the Naples Zoo, her and my mom and me, and we were going around, and they said that all lemurs are from a single place. Like, there's lots of different types of lemurs, but they're all from one place. And they're like, do you know where that is? And I gave the wrong answer. The answer he was looking for was Madagascar. Is the answer we're looking for Madagascar?
No. So I was trying to figure out where you were going with that.
Sorry.
But, okay. I don't know if they misworded this. Okay.
Possibly.
So if you want autophagy to get rid of old damage, I feel like they meant to say, I hope they meant to say, do you need to have higher ketones? And the answer is no. So there are a few basic ways to get into autophagy. The absolute best way to get into autophagy is a water-only fast. That's it.
That's a hard one.
Eating food does stop some forms of autophagy and the most intense form of autophagy. If you don't know what autophagy is, it's like basically where your body gets rid of old tissues and cells and cleans out your system. It's a good thing.
Drano?
So the best way is fasting. Then you also will have intermittent fasting, where you'll get brief periods of it. Eating a higher fat, low carbohydrate diet. Hey, we're all doing that. And then also on top of that, doing exercise and also eating less food. Those are the ways to get into autophagy. It has nothing to do with ketones. Now, here's the cool thing. When you go on a fast, like a 24, 36, I don't recommend any more than a 48 to 72 hour fast. There's really not as many benefits If you really start looking into the research, the most benefit for fasting and autophagy comes around 36 to 48 hours. I don't think you need to do more than 72 hours. I don't even think you need to do 72 hours very often, but that's just my personal opinion based on what I've learned in
research. And we've done a lot of them.
So when you go on a fast, when you are eating a high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet, when you are doing the movement, and when you are lowering the amount of food you're eating, guess what? You end up with ketones. You can literally get ketones eating Oreo cookies. I shouldn't say that, but you can. If you only ate about 400 calories of Oreo cookies or 600 calories of Oreo cookies a day, sat down in a sitting and ate 600 Oreo cookies, 600 calories of Oreo cookies, and then didn't eat anything else for the rest of the day, you will end up with ketones at some point in the day because your body's going to go through all that sugar and then it's going to create ketones. Now, is that healthy? No. Do I recommend that? No. Nope. I don't want anybody to cut out a piece and say, Joe said I can eat 600 calories of Oreo cookies.
Can't wait to see
and stay keto.
Instagram reel on that.
But all keto is, all your body creating ketones, all it is a way of your body not starving itself to death. So it's kind of like saying, it's raining and I have an umbrella. Like, it's like, so when you're in autophagy, you will generally have ketones because you're not eating, but the ketones aren't causing autophagy.
Really?
They're a result of the autophagy.
Wait, are you saying that by me keeping an umbrella in the car, that is not making it so that it does not rain?
Right.
Because it is my experience that if I don't have an umbrella, it will rain.
Right.
But you're saying that that's not, one does not cause the other.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one's from Vicky.
Hey, Vicky, how dare you, Rachel? Scaring people away in your bathing suit. How dare you apply a negative to the way you look? You look great. 6 years ago, I may have understood your statement, but now we who have lost lots of weight have this skin thing going on. We sure do. But dang it, when it was a full skin thing, I think it was worse. You are absolutely right. No. Don't you dare be anything but proud of how your body has changed with this new health look. Vicky, thank you so much. I need that too. Like sometimes I can be super hard about myself. Like I've changed outfits like a million times before. Sometimes when we're like doing a keto on the couch or we're going someplace, like you should see me packing for when we go to a conference. I'm just like everybody else where I'm like, oh man, I don't like, this is hanging out in this shirt. This is hanging out in this shirt. I can't wear these pants. I can't wear that top. I can't wear that skirt. Like there's always something that we will like beat ourselves up with. Thank you for letting me off the hook so that I have permission not to beat myself up. So I'm going to go ahead and take your advice and not beat myself up.
S. Wilson said, hello, everyone. Guess what, Rachel? I sent you a message in Mighty Networks, but
Yay!
I got a ticket for Keto Palooza.
Okay, S. Wilson, we are going to be looking for you. Don't you let me miss you. You got to say, hey, howdy, hey, and then be prepared, friends, because I'm going to be introducing you to all the peoples. We're all super excited to get together. If you have not gotten your ticket for Keto Palooza, time is running out. It's the first weekend in October, and it's going to be awesome. It is an awesome opportunity for community. We're such huge proponents of community because I do not believe, and Joe does not believe, that we were meant to do life alone. That's and right. Even though I'm coming to you via the internet, this is not a substitution for getting together in person and getting to shake a hand, hug a neck, high five a person. Like we need to do these things. So it's good to gather. I love it.
Next one is from Suzanne.
Hey, Suzanne. Hey, Suzanne.
Said, just joining. So how much weight did you lose, Rachel, and how long did it take you? I know everyone's journey is different.
So overall, I am down more than 170 pounds from my highest all-time weight. How long has that taken me? A lifetime. A lifetime. And it will take me the rest of my life to maintain it and to build strength in this existing body. So as far as like, how long is it going to take you? like it's going to take you a different amount. I hope that you come to success in your weight loss journey here long before I came to my weight loss journey here, because it's really so much more important that things are changing up here before things are changing below the neck, so to speak, okay? So I hope that this journey doesn't take you as long as it's taken my journey. Right. But I intend to be maintaining this way of eating and continuing to build strength for the rest of my life. So this is different in the way that I used to do things, where it was like a diet had like an end goal, like it was the high school reunion or it was the Christmas party, and then it was like that was the finish line of that way of eating, and then I would go back to the way I used to eat. So this is just, I have a change of life, and we just keep building upon that. It's pretty much where we at. What about you? Like what do you think of as in terms of like how long it's taken you to achieve the results you've achieved?
Well, I mean, if you just want to know how fast we lost our weight, which I think is what they really wanted to know, like I lost the first 100 pounds in about 8 to 9 months. For you, it took like about a year and a half, and then you were in a stall for like 30 pounds for 2 years.
For 2 years, I was in a stall. So yeah, so if you're like at your what am I, like 5 years going on 6 years of keto, right, that's about how long it's taken me.
Okay, next one we have is from Vicky.
Hey, Vicky.
I needed to hear this. Micromanaging macronutrients. I've been doing 6 ounces of ground beef, New York strip filet, and other cuts of beef, only to find they are different or same fat and protein content. I just need to pick one. Ground beef of 85-15 because I buy a grass-finished cow for the freezer.
Nice.
It has been driving me crazy trying to be perfect. And then I like sardines and salmon. How do I figure that out with chicken of the sea being so different than great value? Girl, just eat the good stuff. Yes.
So good.
Don't micromanage your nutrients. You're eating beef. Eat meat as much as you can, as much as it takes to make you full, and then don't eat when you're not hungry. That's like, now if you're eating super lean, like then you need to add fat. How much fat? Add fat for flavor, for cooking. You know, you want to eat at least 1 gram of fat to 1 gram of protein, probably closer to 2 grams of fat. But like, you don't have to micromanage all of this stuff. Just eat meat and try to eat fattier cuts of meat.
Why do we say that? Because I want this lifestyle to be sustainable for you. And if you micromanage to exhaustion, it's just not going to be sustainable for a lifetime. How long can you keep up with like so much detailed tracking? It really kind of depends on the person. I know that there's some people that for different reasons really embrace this, but I am going to go out there on a limb and say for the majority of people, we want to live in a ballpark of good and be able to live our life without having to have an hour or two with eyes on the things that we're tracking. At least when we think about where will we be in 10 years. In 10 years, I don't want to be a state of, have I got this yet? Have I got a handle on this? So I think that the first thing you have to do is get in the ballpark of what am I supposed to be eating, like you're saying, and then eat that on repeat, because that is going to make it sustainable.
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with the rest of the comments.
I'm another year older.
You are.
I am embracing that.
I saw this. John said 2 2KK cruises. What months are you shooting for? Need to plan way ahead. I'd like to go in a second. We're going to put it in the Meatheads group in our Mighty Networks because that's who we're opening up to first. Right now I'm looking at it's like January and then like end of November or mid-November, December. What I'm doing is I'm looking for ones where I can find the lowest rates.
Right. We're going
the
chipper chicken.
The one at the beginning of the year would be like a 4-day cruise. The one at the end of the year would be a 6-day cruise on a larger ship like Oasis of the Seas. But again, I'm going to put it up in there. The only thing, I got to see the interest because in order to get the group rate, we need to have at least 8 cabins. That's 16 people. So you need to have at least 8 cabins to get the group rate.
I'll fill one. With you.
You're going to film one with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there would be, if we do this with our community, there's no speakers. This is just hey,
hanging
let's
out.
go out and hang out for 4 days or 6 days. We do meals together. I'm sure Rachel will do like scavenger hunt kind of things, stuff like that. Just like
Super
hang out for
dorky.
4 days.
Super nerdy
That's
things.
what we enjoyed about the low carb cruise. Yes, the speakers were amazing, but we really enjoyed just sitting at breakfast, hanging out, talking for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
So we'd be excited to do something like that with our community. First comment we have is from Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Joe said back in January of 2022, I got up to 192 pounds, and that's heavy for me. Even though I'm a male and almost 6 foot tall, I've never been over 130 until my 30s.
Wow.
At that time, I started training in my earnest for a 100-mile bike ride, America's most beautiful bike ride.
Ooh.
And by March, I'd gotten down to 186 pounds. As a typical cyclist, my calorie intake was almost entirely carbs. FYI, I'd been involved with endurance sports since youth and consumed gobs of carbs.
Yeah.
On March 12th of 2022, within 3 miles of completing a 40-mile training ride, I had a severe heart attack. 99.5% blockage of my LAD, according to my heart surgeon. He told me the only reason I survived was because of my lifelong participation in endurance activities. Shortly after, I came home from the hospital with a nice new shiny stent in my primary heart artery. I went keto, and other than that, a few brief breaks have been very strict ever since. I am now down to under 170 pounds and often check in with a GKI of below 3. The last time I had blood labs done, a retired doctor friend of mine told me that there are a lot of people who would kill for numbers like mine. Not quitting anytime soon.
Oh, Joe, like that just blesses us so much. I'm so excited that you're having those kind of results. And I really appreciate you sharing that because that is something that a lot of people need to hear. A lot of people think that if they're very active, and they're way into fitness and they have been for a long time, that is the pure indicator of health, and that they're so shocked when they feel like their body has failed them because they've been doing all the things that they've been doing since youth, right? Like he was always active. He was he was always eating a high carbohydrate diet, right? Thinking like that is it. But wow, we're so glad that you're having those results and really thankful that you shared your story.
Next one's from James.
Hey, James. I've been watching videos on YouTube. I am at 7 weeks now, full carnivore, but I am not sure about the fat levels I am to intake. I have heard 1 for 1 protein to 2 grams of fat. Anyone with a good source. I was 373 pounds. I am now at 330 and stalled. Need to know of a good source to talk directly to. Also, any suggestions about how to get it going? I've been at this weight for 2 weeks. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so first of all, James, the 1-to-1, that should be your minimum. 1 gram of fat to 1 gram of protein, which is, here's the thing, most fatty meats. So bacon, ribeye, all of that stuff is 1-to-1. 85-15 should be the leanest ground beef you should eat, probably closer to 80-20, even 75-25, which gives you a little bit more fat profile. If you're like us and you're buying grass-fed, grass-finished, that tends to be leaner, add in some butter, some bacon grease, some other fat when you're cooking. You're going to usually need to anyway because it's so lean and you usually have to add a fat source for cooking that ground beef.
Yeah.
Some people need 2 grams of fat to 1 gram of protein. Some people need 3 grams of fat to 1 gram of protein. You're trying to lose a bunch of weight. As we said earlier, don't complicate it. You're eating carnivore, full carnivore, which is basically you're just eating animal products.
Yeah.
2 things to work on. Number 1, eat until you're full a couple of times a day. Just eat until you're full a couple of times a day. Do not undereat. Undereating will cause a stall. I know people don't want to hear that, but if you start really cutting back the amount of food you eat,
your body's like, okay, we'll
your
stay
body
here.
is going to slow down its metabolism. One of the biggest problems with people who are doing Ozempic and all of these weight loss injections that they were not designed for weight loss, that's another whole video. One of the biggest, worst side effects from it is they're experiencing like 50% muscle loss. Well, your muscle loss, when you undereat, you experience muscle loss. Your muscle is what helps control your metabolism. if you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. That's why these people, when they go off of it, gain their weight back and more because they've slowed down their metabolism. They go back to what they were eating and then they've slowed down their metabolism, so it's worse. So if you undereat, you will end up slowing down your metabolism, and then the only way to lose more weight is to either A, undereat more, or B, do a reverse diet to speed your metabolism back up, which you're always going to have to do. So you want to undereat what your body needs, but only by a little, not by a lot. You see people like, oh, I'm supposed to eat 2,500 calories, so I'm going to slash that in half so I can lose it quick. And you'll lose weight for a couple of weeks.
You will.
And then your body's going to hit a stall because it's like, whoa, you're not giving me enough food. So you want to eat 2-3 times a day, probably not more than that. You're going to eat till you're full and do not snack in between meats. How much do you need to eat? Eat until you're full, trying to focus on fatty meat. If you eat something lean, like chicken breast, which I would recommend not eating a lot of chicken breast because it's too lean. That's why chicken, by the way, is not on Dr. Berry's beef, butter, bacon, and egg, because it's too lean. Shrimp is great, but it's all protein.
Yeah.
Lobster is great, but it's lots of protein unless you dip it in lots of butter.
Which we did do that this weekend.
So the thing is you want to eat fatty meat. When you are going to eat something that's lean, like chicken breast or maybe lean cuts of beef, you've got to make sure you're adding in a bunch of fat. Protein will fill you up in the moment. Fat's going to take you to your next meal. The biggest thing is don't snack in between. Also, by the way, 2 weeks is not a stall. Like a stall is
2 years.
2 or 3 months.
2 years?
If 2 or 3 months. But lots of things, you're eating carnivore, you've lost 43 pounds.
That's incredible. And you're talking about
and there's
7
other
weeks.
things going on that you may not see. You could lose 3 inches and not lose a pound.
Remember, you're only looking at the outside too. You don't know what is going on the inside. Tell me like the condition of like what is healing in your organs when we stop feeding our bodies the standard American diet. Like for me, the greatest result of keto has been brain function for me. It has not been the weight loss. The weight loss is awesome, but that is not the primary result. So for you, you're like, man, my eyes are on the weight loss, but you don't even probably realize, like I didn't realize, the extent to which my body on the inside was sick.
Next one's from Tammy.
Hey, Tammy.
Said, I've got my whys for starting carnivore, but do you think beef, butter, bacon, egg is a great place to start or a good place to Yes.
Yeah.
The reason that beef, butter, bacon, and egg is a good place to start is it's stricter carnivore. And it is a great way to get everything else out of you. That would be the other thing that I have from the last comment is if is your carnivore including dairy, you might want to cut that for a while and see if that helps with things. But beef, butter, bacon, egg is great because it is an elimination diet. You are literally only eating beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and you've eliminated dairy, you've eliminated sweeteners, you've eliminated all that stuff. Do that for 30, 60, or 90 days, and then you can kind of start going, I wonder if I can have a little bit of dairy, and add some dairy in and see how does your body react to it. So when someone says to me, I want to go carnivore, I would actually always recommend do 30 days of beef, butter, bacon, egg, and then expand your carnivore. Instead of having your carnivore and shrinking it to beef, butter, bacon, egg, I advise go the other way around.
Now, I will remind you that for beef, it's any ruminant animal.
Yes.
So that's going to be
It's just called
beef, that's going to be deer, that's going to be
lamb.
Goat, that's going to be lamb. So you have more options than just beef. And especially as we go into, like we're heading into hunting season. For some people, like it's deer season. Like you're good. Like that is great. That is something like if you're used to filling the family fridge with like a deer each year, that's a great ruminant animal.
Next one we have is from Marta.
Hey Marta, huge victory for myself and my husband. Just went through our first hurricane about an hour away from landfall, and we managed to hunker down, do all the prep work, 10 hours with no power, and stayed keto. In the past, in a panic, I would have used food and snacking as a coping mechanism during times of stress. Me too. This time, I used quality time with my family and a good book to pass the stress. That is so great. I'm still having massive meat aversions, but made an egg loaf in advance. So thankful for this way of eating. Marta, thank you for showing that there are obstacles. You understand, like, there's obstacles, and you're like, okay, this is how I used to do things, and I am going to do things differently. Your determination to be like, yeah, that's the way I used to do stuff, but we do things different now. Like, you have to purpose in your heart that you're going to move away from past things. And for us, yeah, that's how we handled a hurricane too. Like, panic and eat. Panic, eat. And if you live in a winter state, you can probably go for long stretches of time where you're worried about the house, maybe you lose power, and you're like panic eating, right?
Yeah.
Boredom eating, panic eating, because some of it is like the aftermath of a hurricane. I'm no longer panicked, I'm boredom eating. So
Right.
both of those things can take place. Prep now for the season that you're in life and in the year. So if you're like, hey, this is what I usually do when we lose power, have preparation for that, right? Like, we have a generator. Why don't we have other food that's like keto food in our pantry ready to go?
I personally think, I know most people disagree with me, but I think keto is the easiest thing to like be ready for a storm. Because even without generator, yes, we have generators because we have freezers and stuff like that. But without a generator, I think about the things that we can eat that are shelf stable that will sustain us. First of all, we're keto, which means we can go more than 3 or 4 hours without eating, unlike all of our carb children, right? Like by 3-4 hours, you're like,
I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna die if I don't eat. But I think about like just simple things like beef jerky. You can make meat strips. Keto chow is like amazing because you can get keto chow. I don't recommend it using on a regular basis.
But in a hurricane, butter powder?
For like butter powder, heavy whipping cream powder, or it's actually called sweet cream powder, all powdered coconut cream, all of those things, you keep that in your pantry, and in a pinch, you take keto chow, you mix it with some butter powder and water. That's all you need is water. And you've got meals, keto brick, cans of tuna, cans of sardines.
I got my brick by brick
all,
shirt.
all of that stuff makes it, and you can eat it because it's so nutrient dense. So I think it's easier on keto. And then all you need is water. So if you have like a Berkey filter or like we use the Pro 1 filters now, and like we have a swimming pool, we can always go get the water out of our swimming pool and run it through that and drink that. Or like as I was a kid growing up, you have a hurricane, you filled up your bathtub, right? If you're having a storm, you fill up your bathtub, and then you can take that water and you can pour it
right
through
into
a filter, and you're good. So next one we have is from Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie.
I want to hear some opinions on meat slicers.
Ooh, you love to talk meat slicers.
We're looking at the Bestwood 10 Auto versus the manual frozen meat slicer. It looks like a glorified paper cutter. The Bestwood would be a real pain to store. I have a very large 10-tray dehydrator, similar to the London Sunshine sized one. We do want more jerky and carnivore crisps. The frozen meat slicer looks easier to get out and use, but I wonder about longevity and consistent results. Appreciate any experience with specific types and brands. Okay, Stephanie, I tried the manual one. I returned it.
Right.
Does it work? Yes. Is it consistent? Not as much. If you've got a 10-tray dehydrator, your arm is going to be sore trying to slice enough meat for meat chips with that manual slicer. It also doesn't work as well for frozen as people say it does, because you're trying to manually go through frozen meat. Have you ever gotten a paper cutter that say, like, I have one, right? It's a 12 piece of paper cutter, and then tried to cut 15 slices with it, or 15 pages with it. You're like, ugh. That's what that frozen meat slicer is.
They didn't really even mean 12 papers.
No, it's like 12 like tissues maybe.
Yeah.
Go with the Bestwood. Is it a pain to store? Yes, it is. I will absolutely admit that when I go, okay, I need to make some meat chips, I'm like, oh, gotta pull that thing out of the garage.
The only thing is,
and worse than that is I'm like, I gotta clean it. So what I do, and this is what I recommend.
It's pretty busy.
I pull it out and I slice a ton. Like, go get yourself a 10-pound roast and slice up enough to make a lot. So you get yourself a 10-pound roast. So about 6 pounds, if you get a 5 to 6 pound prime rib roast or rib roast, or even a strip roast, that's going to fill up your 10 tray dehydrator one time. So get it out, slice it up, get them going, and then either put the meat back in the freezer, and then when that's done in 4 hours, pull out the meat again, slice it. Or the other thing you can do is what I do.
Lost my earring.
Slice up a whole bunch of it for like maybe 3 or 4 batches and put those slices, separate them with wax paper, and put them in the freezer where they're pre-sliced. This way you only have to pull out the meat slicer like once every couple of weeks. That's the best way to do it. I put a link for one that is, listen, the best wood, there's lots of brands out there.
Yeah.
They're all identical.
Right. They've
just been rebranded in China by somebody else. So there's the best wood, which is the one I have, but I got it on like OfferUp. But there's another company, if you look at the pictures, it's the identical one. It's just got a different name, and it's on sale for like $220 or something like that. So I put a link for that down in the description on Amazon. Next one we have is from Jane.
Hey Jane, has anyone figured out the fat, calories, and protein in the chicken nuggets made with ground chicken? Thanks.
So any of our recipes we do put, if we have a recipe page on our website, if you look down at the bottom, there's macros. However, I'm going to recommend with ours as well as anybody else's recipe, don't trust the macros. Don't even trust our macros. And here's why. Because our macros are based on the ingredients that we use. And I don't mean just like, yes, we use chicken, but they're based on the brand. If you use the brand cream cheese that I use, and then, then you're going to get those results. But if you go to your local store, maybe they've got an extra ingredient in that cream cheese and it's got different macros. So you want to, whenever you create a recipe, you go to Chronometer, which is you can get for free. There's a link down below. And you go to the section that says create a recipe. And you put all of your ingredients that you are personally using. Pull it out, scan the barcode, whatever you need to do. Put the ingredients that you are using in there, and then you don't have to put down directions, and then you're going to say how many servings, and it's going to tell you these are the macros based on how many servings you want. My serving size may be different. If I get a bag of pork and good pork rinds, that bag is 2 servings. It's not 6.
It's not 6.
It's 2. So you need to always figure out your own. If you're making a recipe, somebody else's recipe, don't trust their macros. It's one of the reasons we've kind of even stopped telling you macros in videos, because it's based on us. It's based on what if my meatball recipe gives me 25 meatballs, but your meatball recipe only gives you 15 meatballs, then when you make that same recipe, you're going to have different macros, right? Neely said, I found a huge pre-sliced round roast at the restaurant supply store. I was so happy I didn't have to pull out my slicer because she's got the same meat slicer. Right? And it's great. But it is a bit of a pain to pull out. That's why you just do a whole bunch at once.
What I heard from you, Joe, is everybody's balls are a different size. So their macros are going to be different.
You've been told that you need to stop.
Balls. That's my answer.
Next one's from Jackie.
Hey, Jackie, has anyone used a nasal spray for allergies and noticed their blood sugar goes up? Nasonex, Flonase, etc.
Okay. I put this in here. I did answer on Facebook, but I put this in here because it's probably not the nasal spray. It could be, but it's probably not. Anytime you're sick, your blood sugar is going to go up. It's your body's fight or flight If you get a pimple, you're going to have higher glucose.
Mine went up with I had like an ear infection last week and had experienced that.
Just know that's why I put it up here to remind me to tell you, anytime you get sick, if you get a cold, you're probably going to have higher glucose.
I'm sorry.
If you exercise, you're going to have higher glucose. It doesn't mean don't exercise, okay?
Dang it.
If you go have fun with your significant other in bed, you're going to have higher glucose. That doesn't mean don't do that, right? Well, shush. But so it's probably not the Flonase. However, some of those things, especially oral ones, like if you take Tylenol, usually they've got other ingredients in there, like maltodextrin and stuff like that, that will increase your glucose. Now, with that being said, even if it does, if you absolutely need it, take it.
Right.
I mean, listen, I get allergy attacks every once in a while, and my new thing is when I get allergy attacks, I'm taking bee pollen. I don't care if there's 2 carbs in the bee pollen. I'm going to take bee pollen. I'm not eating honey, but I am going to eat bee pollen because it makes my allergy attack go away.
Right, I'm
Right?
sorry.
I am not a medicine person. When I had a cold a couple of weeks ago, I do not do things like Robitussin and
It wasn't.
and NyQuil. But if I absolutely have to and I'm miserable enough, I am going to take a sip of it and suffer the consequences of that aspect later.
It wasn't the bee pollen that got us into trouble
No.
weight-wise.
No.
It wasn't the bee pollen. It wasn't that.
Next one is from Richard.
Hey Richard, gained 8 pounds. It's no surprise when I look back at my week of not keeping my keto tight. A French fry here, a tortilla chip there, and a couple of beers and some bathroom pyrotechnics needed. Sorry for the TMI. I know that getting back on track with my journey will bring it back down. I know I didn't gain 8 pounds of fat, and I have no reason to be angry, maybe a little disappointed with myself. It's a journey. Sometimes you take a wrong turn and you have to get back on the main road. Some days are a challenge. I didn't learn to eat a standard American diet overnight. Why would keto be any different? It takes time.
Yep.
Richard, thank you so much for that reminder because that's exactly it. And today is a clean slate. Like I was super aware of it because it's day one of a new year for me. And so I was thinking that even though like it's not my 40th birthday and it's not my 50th birthday, right? So it's not one of those like, wow, this is like a big year, but it's still a brand new year. And today is a blank slate. And I can choose to do the right thing in all the different areas of my life. I can choose to speak kindly to my husband. I can choose to eat keto. I can choose to move my body. I can choose to spend time with our Labrador who's sprawled out behind us. Remember when we scoot back because we will just fall over her. But we can choose things today. But you know what? Every day is a new day. Every day is a blank slate. It's just what are we going to write on it today, right?
Next one is from Becky.
Hey, Becky.
Day 8 of no Diet Coke.
Woo-hoo!
I hiked the Great Trail on the Oregon coast, which is 1 hour drive from home. For a split second, I missed having one for the road. I was so proud of myself for ordering water with traditional wings at Buffalo Wild Wings when I went out to lunch with my son. Thank you all for your support. I was down 2 pounds this week. My waist is down 2 inches since I rebooted in June for a total of 20 pounds of the 50 I regained are gone.
I love that, Becky. Way to go. And you know, I love that you mentioned like I just missed it for the drive because that's usually it. It's more of a behavioral thing. We're just used to that behavior. So yesterday I had run to Costco and I was getting some stuff for like the kids coming over, even just like paper plates because I didn't feel like doing dishes. So I'm like, that's it. Today's paper plate day. And while I was there, I was going to like grab some diet soda for the kids to have, and I just didn't feel like it. I didn't have enough time really to go down that aisle. It's in like a different section of Costco. So I was like, you know what? We're getting together, we're gathering, and everybody's got water and we have Element. In fact, the chocolate Element this morning was delicious, okay? But I'm like, we have electrolytes and we have water and we will live. I even called Caleb because I didn't even get the ice. Like I did that differently. And I was like, can you grab ice? I just don't have time to do that. So it was different yesterday. It was so funny. Like the kids are kind of looking like, where are the sodas? There's just a cooler of ice. There's not a cooler of ice and sodas. And I'm like, because there are no sodas, mommy didn't get sodas. And you know what? We lived. It was just weird because we're not used to doing it that way. And I got to tell you, it was nice saving the money because usually if I'm in Costco, it's not like you're going to buy one little thing of sodas. You can't buy one little thing of mayonnaise. It's like you got to barrel roll it out of Costco. Even like the Chosen mayonnaise there is huge.
Next one we have is from Michelle.
Hey, Michelle, quick, finish strong challenge progress report. I've clocked 1,124 active minutes as of yesterday, September 1st. I still haven't decided on my prize for when I complete the 5,000
That is awesome.
minutes. That is incredible.
A new pair of shoes, probably.
Here's what I love. She's still doing it without the prize in sight. For me, I'm like that donkey that I need to see my carrot that's like at the end. and you're just doing it already because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Doing things because it's the right thing to do. Like, oh man, if I stay keto today, all I'm gonna stink and get is better health and consistency. What fun is that?
Right.
Well,
the only thing I
fun.
would recommend is don't use food as a prize. For
Yeah.
anybody. Never use food as a reward. For yourself, for your children, for your grandchildren.
Not even a
We
Brazilian
did that
steakhouse.
and screw that. Now, I wouldn't even use it for that. Next one is from Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Am I correct that in the last 10 to 20 pounds, one should reduce their fat intake or macros, increase protein? I'm on the last 13 pounds and I gain weight instead of losing. Again, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Do you need to necessarily lose fat? No, you may need to increase your fat.
It sounds so crazy.
You may have been under eating. What happens is when you decrease your fat too much and you're eating a bunch of protein but not eating enough fat, you end up with higher glucose. It's not the protein necessarily that's causing. Everyone thinks, oh, if you eat too much protein, you end up with higher glucose. No, your glucose is higher because you're not eating enough fat. Because when you don't eat enough fat and your body's metabolism has slowed down, it's not taking in fat. You have to understand oxidative priority. If you're not taking enough fat and it doesn't want to use your stored body fat because it feels like you're not giving it enough, what it does is, in a last-ditch effort to keep itself going, it takes the protein and it turns it into sugar because it needs a little bit of sugar. So when you increase the fat, it's like, oh, I don't need to create sugar because I've got enough fuel in the fat that's coming in. And then all of a sudden your glucose goes in. That's why people like steak and butter go. When you eat like a stick of butter a day, I'm not necessarily recommending that. I'm just saying when you increase your fat, that's why their glucose goes down, because they're eating more fat. It's not necessarily lowering the protein, it's the increasing the fat. So it could be if you've lost a significant amount of weight, you've again slowed down your metabolism, which is what your body is designed to do. You didn't break it. Don't say I broke my metabolism. I messed up my metabolism. No, it's designed to do that.
It's working great.
Okay? It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But that's where you have to do a reverse diet or refeed days. If you look at Robert, who just is working on his first competition.
Brick by brick.
Right? And Robert trying to become the leanest man alive, and he will tell you, don't do this. It's super unhealthy. Trying to get sub 4%, probably 3% body fat. In the middle of that cut, he had to do a refeed in reverse. Because you can't continue to just decrease that amount of fuel over long periods of time without having other consequences. Right. Next one is from Amanda.
Hey, Amanda, was wondering if anyone has used this sweetener. Also wondering if I could make keto desserts with it. Thank you.
Okay, so people are going to see Splenda and go, you can't use Splenda. Splenda is a brand.
Like Xerox is a copy paper.
Splenda got their name when they came out with Splenda, I guess back in the 80s, 90s. I don't remember exactly when, because you could measure it cup for cup.
I was wearing parachute pants.
So probably 90s.
When it came out.
So
I think.
You can measure it cup for cup. The problem is its sweetener is sucralose, and then it uses maltodextrin and dextrose. And everybody thinks sucralose and Splenda are the same thing. It's not. Splenda uses sucralose, but sucralose is 600 times sweeter than sugar, and it only needs a little tiny amount. So what they do is they use maltodextrin and dextrose as fillers so that you can go cup for cup with sugar. So you never want to use powdered Splenda unless when you look at the ingredients, it's like maybe an erythritol, because again, they're a brand. Their only product is not a sucralose product. They also have erythritol products and things like that. When it comes to liquid, you got to, again, look at the ingredients. So I've seen that liquid Splenda. It's going to be sucralose. Sometimes they add aspartame and then water, a lot of water, because they've got to water down the sucralose because, again, they're going to take a powdered sucralose and they add water to give it its sweetness. The problem with it is I think they charge a lot of money and it doesn't go very long because they really water down the sucralose.
They really water it down.
The better option is to go on Amazon. I put a link down below for a big bottle of liquid sucralose.
That thing is going to last you forever.
And that will last you forever. I remember how much it costs, probably like $25 or $30. But I mean, it'll last you a couple of years. Then get yourself some dropper bottles.
Yeah.
And then you just put it in there. and then you only need to put a couple of drops. But
like a
you
little
will
tiny.
save so much money because that is, I believe, 25%. So it's 25% sucralose and 70% water. Off the top of my head, again, I've never measured it out, but I would tell you that little one that you're buying in Walmart is probably like 95% water and 5% sucralose. So it just doesn't last as long, and you're spending a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
We have one more. It's from Carrie.
Hey, Carrie, the best part about being an abstainer is you never have stuff you can't have in the fridge. There's like literally.
Uh-oh.
Good night. Bye, everybody.
There you go.
Okay, no, we're not. We're
I'm going to go look for something. Will you answer that real quick?
Is there something in there? Yeah, no, I think that a lot of times if you're an abstainer, yeah, there's things that you just don't worry about because you know you have a problem with it. Okay, I saw a person's comment that I was going to answer anybody. Everybody is saying happy birthday to Lynette and Miriam. I love that so much. Let's see. All right, well, I will click on this one. Let's see. Wilma has a question. I've heard some people check if they are truly hungry by checking their blood sugar. If it's low, then they are really hungry. What are your thoughts on this?
It's not really true.
Thank you.
It's not really true. Now, if your blood sugar is too low, it's definitely an indication that you should eat, but you really need to get in touch with your hormones. Your blood sugar isn't going to help you with your hormones. That's why beef, butter, bacon, and egg works. But again, if your blood sugar is really high, you might not need to eat. But again, it also depends on where is your normal blood sugar. For me, my blood sugar is usually in like the mid to high 80s, low 90s. Rachel's usually like in the low 80s. So like if her blood sugar drops into the 50s, 60s, she probably needs to eat something.
I do think that there is it's funny that what I try to do is a lot of times I will go look at my blood sugar, but I kind of already know the answer anyway, right? I feel sluggish. I feel like really, really hungry. And then it's almost like I go to check my glucose to see confirm it. Like, am I trustworthy? Do I really believe that I'm actually hungry? I think a better check is to stop in that moment and say, what else is going on around me? Am I stressed out about something? Am I upset? Am I overtired? Am I bored? If the answer is no to that, and it's been a while since you ate, it's okay to eat. I think sometimes we can mop ourselves into a corner where we're afraid to ever have contact with food.
Okay, so what I was looking for was this stuff, but I don't have anymore.
Hey,
Chris asked, is anybody having trouble getting the Libre 3 monitors to stay on?
I love that picture with the cat.
I just lost my third, wondering if adhesive formula changed. It's not like I'm new at this. They've just suddenly stopped sticking for me. I had a couple fall off. First of all, if your Libre falls off, or even your Dexcom, contact the company. They'll usually replace it. But I've used this product that really works when I would have hard time getting them to stick. It's called Skin Tech. I get it on Amazon. You can buy it in a bottle or wipes. I recommend the wipes. They look like little alcohol wipe pads. I'm going to put a link for it in the description. And then I'll also add it down. I put it in the chat and I'll add it to the description.
That looks like you're
later.
having her purchase a Skin Tag.
No, that's what it's called. Tack.
Skin
Tack. TAK.
Isn't that weird?
TAC.
That's kind of a weird name.
That's what it's called. The only thing I'm going to advise is it is
that.
extremely sticky. Very sticky.
How sticky is it?
So take a razor, shave that area.
Okay.
And then rub it on, not much larger than the size.
It's not you. She doesn't have that much hair.
You still should shave your arm. Wherever
shave
you're
your
putting
arm,
it.
Chris.
No, Chris is putting it on. Chris Bear's been putting it on his chest, too. So
shave your chest, Chris.
So shave the area, put a little bit of, take the wipe, rub it on, and then put this on. And then you can use a little bit of alcohol to clean off around it. But that stuff got, when I was using the Dexcom, which you were able to kind of hack the system and get it to keep going more than 20 days or 14 days, I had one stay on for a month and a half using that stuff. It really...
You're like, we need to break up, dude. You got to go.
I would recommend using that Skin Tack.
Thank you, everybody, for birthday wishes. I saw you, Carrie. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you.
We're going to go back up to the top. Remy, if you're maintaining your weight, is it okay to indulge in a low-calorie alcohol seltzer drink, truly high noon? Okay, this is a touchy subject, which Rachel never likes me talking about.
Oh, number one, I will say this. First of all, whatever you do, just go in knowing if it's been a while since you've had an alcoholic beverage, your tolerance is out the window. Like you are a toddler level of tolerance at this point. So I think some people go out and they're like, here's the bottle that I was used to purchasing, and like a shot is going to put you to bed.
Right.
Like that is number one.
So we are not teetotalers.
No.
Okay? We have consumed an alcoholic drink. We have had Trulies. We've had a shot of vodka.
Don't tell my mom though.
Okay.
Okay.
She's probably watching.
All right.
Okay. Here is the problem with alcohol.
Just one?
We are not telling you to not drink it. But as Rachel said, we want you to go into drinking alcohol on keto with full knowledge. Not just the fact that you're going to get drunk faster.
You're gonna get drunk faster.
Aside from that,
yes.
alcohol, and anybody who tells you this is not true is wrong, okay? And probably wrong because they're misinformed, and it's not that they're trying to deceive you.
No.
They just don't understand. Alcohol absolutely will, 100% of the time, kick you out of ketosis and ketogenesis.
Yes.
Ketosis is your body using ketones for fuel. It is not ketones in your blood. That's why I don't like when someone goes, I have 0.5 ketones, that means I'm in ketosis. No, because even when you have ketones in your blood, your body isn't always using ketones because sometimes your body needs to use glucose. There are parts of your body and your brain that need to use glucose for fuel. So there are times, even when you have ketones, that your body is using glucose for fuel. Ketosis is just when your body is using ketones for fuel. That's why a company like Prove It can legally tell you if you take our ketones after eating a Oreo cookie, you will be right back into ketosis. They're not lying because your body will burn the exogenous ketones before it burns the sugar in the Oreo cookie. So they're not
Right.
lying.
Yeah.
But you're not in nutritional ketosis. And your body's not using the ones that it has stored. It's just using the ones it had. So your body, ketogenesis is when your body is creating ketones. That's what we want. Your body creating ketones. When you consume alcohol, the whole idea, oxidative priority states the first thing that you consume, when it consume alcohol, that is the first thing your body is going to burn. If you have fat on your body, doesn't want it. If you drink ketones, doesn't want it. If you have ketones, doesn't want it. You eat carbohydrates, doesn't want it. It's got to get rid of the alcohol because the alcohol is a poison and your body has the ability to store zero amounts of alcohol. It is a fuel. So when you consume alcohol, your body is going to stop burning ketones. Therefore, you are no longer in ketosis, and it is going to stop producing ketones. Therefore, you are no longer in ketogenesis, and it is going to burn that alcohol. How long does that last? Depends on how much you drink. Could be 24, 48, 72 hours. It depends on how much you drink, which means you will hit a stall if you're trying to lose weight. I'm not saying not to drink it. I'm just saying be aware, even when you test your ketones, they're probably not going to go down when you drink an alcoholic beverage.
Right.
Unless you're drinking an alcoholic beverage that's mixed with a bunch of sugar, like rum and Coke or vodka and orange juice.
And I think it's important to also note that it's going to lower your inhibition as well. Remember,
The can's gone.
like you are, you're focused on this. Staying consistent on keto is challenging enough, but like if you are inebriated, staying on keto can be even harder to do, right? Like that can be a challenge. And we've seen a lot of people be frustrated with this. And remember, especially when you see these like 0 carb alcohols, that is marketing. They're like, what do we do? Because that's the first thing a lot of people notice is like, oh, I've got to stop drinking beer now because that's going to not work with this way of eating. And so they let go of that life. And so the companies that sell you their product don't want you to stop utilizing their product. They're like, wow, we need to give something to you so that you will still be a consumer of ours.
Yeah.
So just know there's going to be a lot of focused marketing coming your way trying to convince you use this product. It's okay.
Yep.
Go ahead and use this product.
Now, if you are going to consume alcohol, I would stick to the lower carb things like the Trulies and things like that. Avoid the ones, almost all of those things, you're going to look in the ingredients, you're going to say sugar, but it doesn't really have sugar because it's using the sugar to create the alcohol. It just was one of the ingredients. But you stick to those. All of your distilled spirits, vodka, gin, rum, whiskey, all of those are going to be zero carb. Avoid things like flavored vodkas, like pineapple rums, things like that, dry white wines. But just understand it does affect ketosis, even when your meter. So you're going to see people say, it didn't kick me out of ketosis because my meter still says I have a 1.0 in ketones. You're out of ketosis.
Yeah.
You are, no matter what that meter says. Oh, I just erased Becca's thing, but Becca...
6 months,
6 months
off
and no
of
medicine.
all medicine. Becca Price, we are so stinking excited for you. And what a win. What an incredible win. So proud of you, young lady.
Lori said, I've made sure to get my walks in every day since Rachel's weight loss video
Yay!
from April. 9 weeks sober, and I'm down
Woohoo!
9.75 inches in the last month.
That is incredible. Way to go.
Brenda said, Joe, I'm trying to use different meats on my keto journey and thought of you guys. How do you cook lamb? My Publix sold me one just chop in case I don't like it and waste my money, and it is okay. Any way you barbecue. I like to roast it. I like anything slow.
Me too.
I like smoked lamb. Depending on but I would say about 300 degrees if you're roasting it in the oven. I wouldn't go over 300, 325 degrees. But again, depends on what you're doing. If you're getting like rotisserie, if you have a rotisserie or an air fryer, all of those are going to really help you with cooking it. I like cooking it on a smoker. And we pretty much use like the Redmond organic garlic pepper for like the rubs. Big Red Beard Green became a channel member. Thank you very much.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Matt said, we didn't get unhealthy overnight. We won't get healthy overnight either. But we need to keep working to get to our ultimate goals.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Christina said, being a part of your community means so much to me. Rachel and Joe, I've learned so much from you both. In particular, how important mindset means to being successful on our journey.
Christina, you bless my life so much. I miss you, girl.
Scott said,
Hey, Scott.
Good morning, Fred. Sorry I'm late. My birthday is tomorrow. I'd love to hear your beautiful
Wow,
voices.
yes. Are you ready?
Happy
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scott. Happy birthday to you and many more. So many more, Scott. We love you.
Adam said, I can't disable the alarm on the Freestyle 2 alarm when my sugar dips into the low 50s. Taking a break from it disrupts sleep in midnight, and I tend to eat a snack around 2 or 3, usually sardines. Okay, we've talked about this before. If you're like Rachel or like Adam and your Freestyle is dropping into the 50s, unless you have other medical issues, unless you are a severe diabetic who is currently having to use insulin, you're not, and if you are strict keto, and again, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, this is not an alarming situation. Don't worry about it.
Did you just Rachel that?
I did.
You totally Rachel that.
If you do not worry about it, you're not having a low glucose event because your body is using ketones for fuel. It's not the same as somebody who can go into a diabetic coma, where their blood sugar is too low at night. The best thing to do is you don't have to take a break from your Freestyle if you don't want to. What you do is you turn off the app at night.
Ooh, Christina's going to Ketopalooza.
That's cool. So you turn off the app at night. So what we do is Rachel will just, at night when she goes to bed, she closes down the
whole
app.
thing
Just
out.
closes the whole app down because she doesn't need that alarm. She's not wearing it for a medical purpose to monitor to make sure that she doesn't get a low glucose where she needs to go and eat some sugar or something. You don't need to eat anything. So just turn off the app at night. And then when you get up in the morning, turn it back on.
Ooh, Ola's got a really good non-scale victory. No altitude sickness this last week. Last time I was in real altitude, I was so sick. And that was on altitude medication. And I'm finding more and more people experience that. If you formerly had motion sickness, altitude issues. Like I couldn't even drive through like Skyline Drive in Virginia was like too much for me to see the leaves change. I love seeing fall foliage, but like I couldn't handle any elevation at all. Like it was crazy. So yeah, I mean that is an amazing non-scale victory. Just so good.
Couple more real quick. Dawn said,
Hey,
what are
Dawn.
soft foods for swallowing? I've been doing beef, butter, bacon, egg, but throat is scratched and sore now. I know eggs and butter. If you're doing beef, butter, bacon, and egg, you're pretty much like a liver pate or something like that, or eggs. If you're not doing beef, butter, bacon, egg, or if you don't want to be, if you're okay being a little bit off of it, here's what I would recommend.
I like bone marrow too.
Here's what I would recommend. I'd recommend getting some keto chow core.
Okay.
You have vanilla, you have strawberry, and then you also have the chocolate. And you make our egg pudding.
There you go.
With this. You're pretty close to beef, butter, bacon, egg.
Right.
Yes, you're having a little bit of sweetener, but you're using stevia.
Or you could do the unsweetened.
You can do the unsweetened, but that's gonna...
It's not gonna be as good.
No. And then you can use like a coconut milk or something like that.
Beef tallow for if you want to do a shake. But
I'm making the egg pudding.
Oh, okay. I mean, you could also do the shake with beef tallow.
Yes, yeah.
And
but
that would be soft.
I'm talking about just like, but if you want to eat, I would make the egg pudding, but use this. So we actually have a video on it. I don't know where it is, but we actually made it with the chocolate when we were on the houseboat with them. So, but then you're getting a lot of nutrients, and you can eat the entire thing. And it could be enough food for the day because it's like a dozen eggs.
It really fills you up.
Jujubee said, funny story, I'm out of Redmond's. Just made the kids breakfast. 2 of the 3 won't eat it because it doesn't taste right, Mom. Yep, that iodized salt I keep for the salt gun. My babies know.
Isn't that funny? They do know. Our children are the same way. Like, they've gotten very bougie on their salt, too. So, like, they will bring Redmond when they go to a restaurant. It's like, especially if they're going, like, on a fancy date restaurant and they're like, we're paying too much for this date for us not to, like, fully enjoy this meal. Like, they bring the Redmond.
Okay, we are going to get off. We're going to Disney World tomorrow.
We're going to go see Sarah Franklin.
Yeah.
If Disney happens to be there, we want to see Sarah and Matt.
So we will be back live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, last chance, we're going to pull the winners for the Keto Chow Core giveaway later on today. So make sure if you haven't done so, go and comment on that video. Everybody have a great night.
We love you.